If they were to make a remake of Back to the Future, they would be riding these things 40 years from now.
Wait, this is me?
What's up guys, Jimmy Chang here with Andrew. It is late, but we could not wait till the morning to open this up. This is the strangest, the most unique e-bike we have ever reviewed on the channel to date.
Yeah, we have the ASYNC A1. It's got a 1200 watt motor that peaks at 2500 watts, speeds of 28 miles per hour plus, and it has full suspension.
So let's just get opening. I can't wait to see this thing.
Cardboard and foam, so very interesting. And that is a mega brake disc, 203 millimeters. That's the rear fender we need to put on here. These just kind of get loosened up and drop into place. And this is the first time we've ever received an e-bike with a mallet. I think that's good, nice and squared up, okay.
Hidden rear suspension. So the suspension is hidden in there.
The battery is inside of the seat. You drop the rear end to charge your battery, which is the keys up here. This battery is waterproof for up to 3 feet for 30 minutes. Really big too. Look how big that thing is. It's a 20 amp hour battery, so it should take you just a little bit under 7 hours to charge from empty to full.
Let's charge her up. Okay, we've got the battery freshly charged. Now let's get it in and do a walkthrough. The Async, it's something like the Cybertruck. When the Cybertruck first came out, it kind of blew people away. Very polarizing. I think people either love it or they hate it. I love the looks of this bike, but let's see what this bike is all about. Andrew, show us around.
Yeah, let's start with the cockpit. You have this center display, which has these small little squares. On the right side, you have a twist throttle. You have an electric horn, which is pretty quiet, great for pedestrians, but not really good for alerting cars while you're on the road with them. On the left side, you have another hydraulic brake lever with the control module. The control module controls the pedal assist levels. Moving down the front, you have air suspension, a 203 millimeter brake disc with 4-piston hydraulic brakes. You also have a 20 by 4 inch CST BFT tire, which is puncture resistant and has a knobby tread on it. There's a coil suspension behind this cover.
This bike comes in two versions. There's the less expensive version, which is what we have here, and then there's the more expensive version, which comes with a belt drive, a bigger battery, a couple other features that you can access with the app. What we have here is the lower cost version, same motor, similar top speed. So let's continue on.
One neat feature about this bike is it does have a 1200 watt motor that peaks at 2500 watts. So a lot of these e-bikes, they're typically either 750, 500, or 1000. We rarely see a 1200 watt motor on them. Another 20 by 4 inch CST BFT tire that's puncture resistant with 203 millimeter brake disc and 4-piston hydraulic brakes. But overall, a sweet looking bike. There is some lights in here that we didn't mention. As you can see, they glow in a pattern. So pretty sweet design.
What we're gonna do now is get our safety gear on so we can take this out for a spin and tell you what we think about the ride. All right, here we are riding the Async, this futuristic bike. Andrew, what are some of your first thoughts of this guy?
Surprisingly, the full suspension feels great. I thought it was kind of a gimmick that they covered it up, but it works really well. It's got really good center clearance from the width of the tires, and a lot of bikes do not perform well inside of this mountain bike course, but yeah, overall it feels nice and sturdy and really reminds me of riding a dirt bike, the overall geometry of the bike.
One thing we found with this e-bike, with the suspension and the way it's set up, it does a great job going up and down large objects. And I'm surprised that it's in such good shape. It really has taken a beating. This was our durability test. Despite the beating, it's still running great. So we have the Draggy here, GPS, satellite, speed. We are going to do two different speed runs here, throttle only and then throttle plus Andrew power. Now, we expect this to go, what, 28 miles an hour?
I think it's probably more like 32, 33.
Let's see what we get.
The display says it was capped out at 33 miles per hour. On the Draggy, it did say 33 miles per hour, so very accurate. That's nice. I do like that the display matches up with GPS results.
That's a good top speed for a class 3 e-bike, 33 miles an hour. That is throttle only. Now we're going to try to do it throttle plus pedal power. Andrew, let's take it away. He said something as he zoomed by, something about the pedaling. Let's go find out. This is Andrew plus pedal power.
The pedaling is pretty worthless. Hard to pedal. Once it goes past 20 miles per hour and it's a single speed, you're not even really putting any pressure into the pedaling at all. And same top speed of 33 miles per hour, and I'm just worn out now.
Andrew, tell us about the ride quality.
Ride quality felt great. The acceleration isn't like earth-shattering. This is kind of middle in the pack when it comes to acceleration. It felt comfortable though. It never felt like it was shaking or that it was trying to not ride straight. It felt pretty true to a natural bike.
All right, let's do a high-speed brake test. Andrew's gonna go down there, go full speed, and then test those brakes out.
Those brakes work well.
I can smell the rubber. You stopped. I mean, you can see you're here. You started right around here. Yeah, that's not bad. That's what, like maybe 20 feet. So really good stopping power for these hydraulic brakes. Let's ride over, find some shade, and talk about the things that we love about this Async. We found a nice spot here by the water. Andrew, what are some things that you love about this?
I like how the display is easy to read in direct sunlight. A lot of displays on e-bikes get washed out. And I also like how accurate it is. Most of them are 3 to 5 miles per hour off, so I do like that it's right on the money. The throttle has 0 dead zone on it, which is good, but there's also some negative to that, and we'll talk about that later. 4-piston hydraulic brakes work extremely well. The large battery is about 1.5 to twice the size of normal e-bikes, so really big battery.
I thought this wouldn't be very comfortable, but it's actually really comfortable. Seat is nice and plush, and it's the perfect shape for your bottom. In addition, you have the suspension that's hidden under here, and the suspension is actually very good.
I'm really surprised how it eats up the bumps and imperfections on the road. And then what's really nice is if you go off of little jumps, it preloads really well.
The motor on this is very powerful. It's a 1200 watt motor with a peak of 2500 watts. So a powerful motor. You're not gonna have that kind of rubber burning acceleration with this, but it's very sensitive. That throttle, as soon as you twist it, it will take off on you. With the app, you're able to lock this bike. So some added security. Very nice that you can lock it so that no one can mess around with the electronics. No one can turn it on and try to rev the motor while you are away, while this bike is locked up. And then to tie it all together is this futuristic headlight that we've never seen in any other bike before. And that's probably because this thing was from the future.
And then one thing I do love about this bike is it does allow me to go up to 33 miles per hour with throttle only.
Let's continue riding, and then at our next stop, we're gonna talk about the things that we don't like about this bike. The cool thing about this bike is it looks so futuristic, but one of the problems is people look at this, and when you're on trails like this, walking in bike trails, they may give you some dirty looks and some dirty comments like this thing should not be here. We had a cyclist pass by who said some things that were not super nice, you know, including he started singing lazy, lazy, lazy. Occasionally you get the guys in the full spandex, the full gear, riding a bike that's more expensive than my car that'll call us lazy, but that's fine. We're enjoying ourselves. But just let you know, this bike, because it looks so different, it does attract some attention. No bike is perfect. Let's talk about the things that we don't like about this bike. Top on my mind is this full twist throttle. Was it off?
Nope, it's not off. Let me turn it off.
It's a full twist throttle. And so it's really easy to make the mistake of grabbing onto the bike like you need to move it. And that's exactly what happened to me. I grabbed onto the handle so I could move it. It was on and I didn't know that. And as soon as I grabbed onto this handle, it twisted slightly. And so the bike just took off and had a little spill. What happened?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that Jimmy did earlier, where you go to grab that right handlebar, but it's all complete throttle, and as soon as you grab it, it just spins out from underneath you.
So one of the great things about this is the instant acceleration and the power. One of the drawbacks, however, is that throttle, man, if you twist it a little bit, it's just gonna go.
Let's talk about this front light. It looks really cool, but it's not very bright. It's a very narrow beam and it's not super wide or bright. The app looks really cool, but there's not a lot of functionality with this display. The only thing I can do with the app is unlock the top speed and lock the e-bike. It also doesn't have the ability for me to change it from kilometers to miles per hour. That should be something that should be easily accessible through the app without having to go into the P settings. One thing about this motor is it's a lot of power for 1200 watts, but it's also really loud.
Now let's continue riding, and while we ride, we're going to talk about who we think should get this Async Ebike. We have taken the Async through the ringer. Most people are not going to ride this bike like we've been riding it, taking it off jumps and drops and going through the mountain bike course. This is a beautiful bike that most people will ride just on the roads and maybe light off-road trails, but we've really done the durability test on this thing and it is riding great still. So I love that this is a durable bike that can take a beating and still keep riding. I think this bike is great for people that want to stand out from the crowd, because you're definitely going to stand out on this bike. But it's not just looks, it's also guts. It's got plenty of power to take you where you want to go on and off the road.
If you're not quite devoted to getting a Sur-on dirt bike, but you also don't want a basic e-bike, this is a perfect blend between both because it acts like an e-bike with dirt bike qualities.
If you guys have any other questions, check out our full written review at freshlycharged.com. Thanks for watching, and when you guys ride, wear your safety gear.